We make eye contact, and I connect to the Wi-Fi in your brain, and I delete half of your memories, and make you left-handed. But I'm left-handed, and I already have a poor memory, so good luck finding anything worth deleting. Wait a minute. How I, a millennial, filter spam calls. If my phone rings, it's spam. I answer for no one, except my mommy. Your church-going, God-worshipping sister adopted a small child, and you're excited to see them. But when you do, the child is a menace. They're throwing things everywhere, setting furniture on fire with seemingly nothing, chanting in Latin to summon demons. But the weirdest thing is that your sister doesn't seem to mind. You literally adopted the antichrist, and what the F? Yeah, I knew when I saw him at the orphanage. I figured if the kid had some decent fucking parenting, that we could avoid the whole Revelations shite. Nasty business that George, whose name has been kindly changed from Damien, approaches his new mother with a huge spider in his hands. It promptly bursts into flames. Good job, love. Now go find the rest. George's face makes no expression, but his eyes shine when he receives a pat on the head for his efforts. As the months go by, George seems to settle down. He adjusts to school, friends, and the positive reinforcement Anne gives him. She encourages the good he does, even though the powers he uses aren't good. When she gets calls from the school, it's about a rambunctious boy that won't sit still. Not a destroyer of the world and innocence. It's at Christmas dinner that you let slip your amazement to your mother. How good Anne is for him, and how he's improved a lot. Still summoning hellhounds for games of fetch, though. Oh, he'll forget how to do that when he falls in love the first time. Your mother laughs, smiling wide. How do you know that? You ask bewildered. Because you did. Okay, so someone please write the story of the family of super low-key holy warriors who have made it their mission to locate the antichrist in every generation, because when one gets spoiled they try again and adopt them and love them into not being the antichrist anymore, thus perpetually delaying the apocalypse. Delaying the apocalypse via good parenting. I love this. Why it's so important to know about high-functioning depression. There's a lot to unpack here. Me in a sexy depression. Me arching my back to make sure my ass still looks fat while I'm crying alone in my room. I'm trying to escape depression, but I'm dummy thick, and the clap of my ass keeps alerting the serotonin deficiency. The true genius of classical Pavlovian conditioning is that every time I hear Pavlov, I automatically think of a dog. I hate this. I never thought of this. Chala. I'm the Black Panther, protector of Wakanda, and this is my Black Panther supersuit. Peter Parker, a millennial, who knows exactly what a furry is. You're telling me Peter Parker doesn't lie awake every single night, trying to justify whether he is or isn't a furry himself? Technically Peter would be a buggy, rather than a furry. A what? You have been visited by the permit crab. You may do one bad thing today. I choose eat cake. I choose to commit a felony. There are two kinds of people. My friend asked how I learned to cook, and the answer is I didn't. I know like 5 things about cooking, and they are: always use more garlic than the recipe calls for. It close enough is a great measurement tool. Find like 5 recipes that you like, adjust them how you like them, make them until you hate them, clean as you go. If a recipe is from a mommy blog, you will need more spices. If anyone wants to add, please do. Always use more basil. And cheese often melts and dissolves a little bit, so if you need cheese, use slightly more cheese. If a cake calls for cinnamon, dump twice as much as it says on the recipe and as a minimum. Coming from a state champion baker, if you'll use a decent box mix and use melted butter instead of vegetable oil, an extra egg, and milk instead of water, no one can tell the difference. I sure as hell can't. Also, if you add a little almond extract to vanilla cake or a little coffee to chocolate cake, it sends it through the roof. This concludes me attempting to be helpful. Do I date tall people just so they can always see me from my best angle? Or is that just a bonus for them? I don't know. How tall are you? Cause that'll tell you why you date tall people. I'm 5 feet 2. You date tall people, cause everyone is taller than you. Original theory. Succubi are always women. Incubi are always men. Facts. In fact, succubus comes from the Latin word succuba, which means to lie under, and incubus comes from the Latin word incuba, which means to lie on. New improved theory. Incubi are always tops and succubi are always bottoms. Gender doesn't matter at all. Addendum. If the sex demon in question is versatile, they're a concubus, from the Latin for to lie with / beside. Proper Latin headcanon accepted. Hey, did anyone hear the news that scientists have actually been able to figure out the most common key that old pirate shanties were sang in? It's really interesting. Like, they found and analyzed lots and lots of sheet music that they suspect was inspired by all these old shanties, since all the music was written by people who are believed to have been former sailors or even former pirates. And the neat part is that statistically speaking almost 90% of them are written in the same key. I mean, obviously it's not confirmed 100%, but it looks like almost all pirate shanties were sang in a high C. Go to jail. Arise. Soon milk will be distributed. The translation is significantly more Soviet in tone than the original, which is great. Till 13.8% of cigarette smokers do not consider cigarette butts to be litter. Brain rot. When I used to smoke, I always ate the butts. Thank you for saving our planet. You can unfollow me, but you can't uneat my posts, so really I'm the winner here. Our paths may have crossed briefly, but you still had the misfortune of knowing me. I did meet some of the most insufferable people, but they also met me. My favorite thing in the entire world is fiction that takes the concept of spaceship to its literal extreme. I'm not even exaggerating. That rocks. Pics that make you yearn for a life in a universe that only exists in your daydreams. I feel safe knowing members this are working in the FBI. Driving through Ohio be like, con. Hell is real. Con. Grandpa's cheese barn. Con. Corn/soybeans. Con. This is so true, it's not even funny. Adjectives in English absolutely have to be in this order: opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose, noun. So you can have a lovely little old rectangular green French silver whittling knife. But if you mess with that word order in the slightest, you'll sound like a maniac. It's an odd thing that every English speaker uses that list, but almost none of us could write it out. And as size comes before color, green great dragons can't exist. Things English speakers know, but don't know we know. Whoa, what? That is profound. I noticed this by accident when asked about adjectives by a Japanese student. She translated something from Japanese like brown big cat and I corrected her. When she asked me why, I blue screened. Would sleeping with a centaur be considered bestiality? Yes. That raises another question. Do centaurs have human or horse genitals? Or both? Horse. Then the question is, would it be morally acceptable for a centaur to mate with a normal horse? And what would the offspring be like? 100% plus 50% equals 75%. I hate all of this. Bigot. This is the last thing you see before you die. My horse prints. Okay everyone, we found it. The worst post. Do you ever wonder if, in a few decades, memes will be featured in history textbooks as a part of history and internet culture? Because if my descendants even have to so much as read the word skeleton and war together, I'm coming out of my grave to F#. But wouldn't that actually start the skeleton war? Fulfill the prophecy. Odds are that, if there's something that I love, I've accidentally run over it. My feet, my friend's feet, my family's feet, my hand, my clothes, my laptop, my textbooks, my dog's tail, the president of my college. It's at this time that I would like to remind everyone that I am, in fact, in a wheelchair. Pikachu train. Who choo train? It's a choo choo train. Pikachu choo train. Choo choo. Where's it going? Straight to hell. 1890 postcard. Happy New Year. Go into the soup. My dad took me to see Shark Boy and Lava Girl when it came out, and it was my first 3D movie, and I was so amazed. When I got home I said, "Dad, I wanna draw 3D pictures," and he laughed in that parent way. That means haha, okay, you do that kid. You can't really do that, but okay. I came back half an hour later with drawings I had traced over slightly offset with red marker, then offset in the other direction with blue, and gave him the 3D glasses. "Daddy, look, I did it." "Well, you did. You sure did." Which translates to how the F. Kermit doesn't have a nose or lips, but he conveys more emotion than any human. It's about the scrunch. I know my dear is just like normal bro talk for Victorians, but will my gays ever be able to handle it? No. Imagine if like 150 years from now, bro ends up having connotations, and the future Tumblr gays are all losing their minds about how tender classical literature sounds. Someone circa 2019. What's up my mans? Gays in 2205. Oh my god, his mans. Gorillas can be killed by landmines placed along forest paths. I was reading Wikipedia about threats to gorilla conservation, and I'm deeply ashamed to admit that the mental image upon reading that a gorilla could step on a landmine made me laugh. This reads like a video game loading screen. Got inventing sleep. Got people can have a little death as a treat, and I look forward to my little death sample. Maybe that's why I wanna die, because I enjoy my death sample so much. Someone mentions a tree state area. My brain to this day. The shadow on his shirt makes it look like the guy in the back is badly photoshopped into the picture. I can't even open a program to screenshot this. Everything is good. Behold, the computer version of this is fine. Fun Disney fact. Fiona was the first red-headed Disney princess when she made her debut in 1988, 1 year before Ariel did in The Little Mermaid, 1989. Shrek came out in 2001. Good for him. If Snow White literally had lips red as a rose, hair black as ebony, and skin white as snow, she'd look like a walking nightmare. Honestly, this sounds like the description of a vampire. Which would also explain how she convinced 7 dwarfs to let her stay with them. How she could control some animals to do her bidding. How she could sleep for a long time without aging. Why the hunter betrayed the queen for her, and why the queen wanted her heart, so she could be sure she was killed properly. Daniel Radcliffe tries his best to widen his horizons and take on various interesting and different roles. Me. Look at the Harry Potter man go.